Hello everyone, I am the MoeChicken, and welcome to a new series. Today we are going to be playing Kid Icarus for the NES, if you didn't know. Because apparently I believe there are two games now called Kid Icarus. It's kind of like the Ninja Gaiden problem where, you know, they made a Ninja Gaiden for the NES, and then they made another game called Ninja Gaiden for, like, the Xbox or something like that. Anyway, this is the Kid Icarus for the Nintendo. And it is... let's see, what do I say about Kid Icarus? So I should start by saying that this is not a game that I had growing up. I knew of it. Like, it's a game that is familiar, but I actually think I mostly knew about it due to Captain N, the Game Master, rather than the actual game. Because I didn't have it, and I didn't know anybody who did have it. And so I didn't really first play this one until, like, much later on. And as a result, I feel like maybe I don't want to say missed the boat on it, but it doesn't have that nostalgia factor, so I kind of approach it as, you know, I guess exactly what it is isn't really accurate, but as sort of fresher than some others. Oh, there's Goofy Death. I love Goofy Death. He's one of my favorites. I'll put that thought on hold and talk about Goofy Death. So, that is the Grim Reaper up there. He hangs out, and if he sees you, so if you're standing on the same height as him, and and he like looks at you. Hang on. That one up there. If he looks at you, he will like freak out, just go crazy all of a sudden, and summon little like death snakes to kill you. Anyway, so I'm sure you will see it at some point during this playthrough. So this is a game that, yeah, I only played it much later on. I want to say I played it on emulator, I think. Despite the fact that I have 2 copies of this game for some reason, I believe I first played this game on an emulator. And it's... the funniest thing about Kid Icarus as a game, I think, is that I believe it genuinely gets easier as you go through. Like, the hardest part of the game, I think, is the beginning of the game, which is a bit strange. Almost done with the first level. Here we go. I think I gotta kill this Cyclops frog, maybe. There's that. I don't know what that was, but presumably it's bad. And here we go. Yes, fantastic. Total score 0. Score 5,800. I like how he looks up. He's like, change those around. Okay, we're good. Yeah. So the earliest levels are vertical scrollers, which is a cool idea that I feel like isn't really. How do you put it? I would say that there. At least I am not aware of too many classic series that focus on verticality. The closest I can think of would be something like Metroid, where there are, you know, significant. Oh, gotta fight the mustaches. Gotta fight the mustaches. I can't see these things as anything other than a big old nose and like goofy eyes and a mustache. I don't know what they're supposed to be. Maybe they're supposed to be like beetles or something. I'm not really sure, but as they look like to me, they look like a nose and a mustache. So there you go. Yeah, so I can't think of too many games where there's like the focus is on verticality. So that makes this game interesting at the very least. The problem is, I believe in order to properly design a game about like verticality, you would need to have mechanics in place to support that. And unfortunately, this game doesn't really have anything that supports it. If anything, the verticality is a liability, because the screen scroll represents a pit, I guess you could say. Not the pit we're playing as, but a pit. Namely that if I were to fall down, like if I were to go right off of this into the black void, I die even though I just came from there, and I know it's... Oh, what do you say? Try buying from me. What I say is that you should format your text better. I can't afford any of this. It's ridiculous. All right, going on. What was I talking about? Yeah, so because you've got this ever-chasing pit thing, also the screen wraps around. I don't think I'd actually showed that off yet, but yeah, it does. Because you get this ever-chasing pit, you can wind up in a situation where, oh, there's Goofy Death. Look at him go! He's freaking out! You can actually kill Goofy Death if I remember correctly, but, it's not really worth it. I want to go in there, though. Yeah, there we go. What's in here? In here, more noses with mustaches. What about that name for these guys? Mustachio. I don't know. Anyway, they probably have an official name, but I don't know what it is, so they're Mustachio to me now. Yeah. So since you have this ever-chasing pit, it means that the platforming is really significant, and the monsters are largely just sort of like a nuisance, I guess. Like, the most dangerous thing the monsters can generally do is knock you off of the cliff into the pit. Add to that Pit's jump is a little weird. So I'll show you. So I jump and I land. You see how he kind of like rolls his step a little bit when he lands? Like, there's just a little bit of landing time, which makes really persistent platforming kind of difficult. So the game, now I guess I should explain why I feel like it gets easier as you go along. It's because the first stage, as you can see, is primarily a vertical stage. Let's see. May I help you? We have everything. Do you now? Let's see, health. So this one here is a health chalice. This is a hammer, which is useful later on, and then this is an angel feather, which if you fall off the screen, it will save you one time. And I don't need any of that right now. Yeah, so the reason that the game gets easier is that while the first world of the game, there are 4 worlds in the game, while the first world is vertical, as you can see, the second world is horizontal. And actually, that is a large part of what prompted me to try to play this game in earnest. Because, when I was younger and I played it on emulator, I was just sort of like, I tried it out, but, on emulator, you have access to lots and lots of games, so if one doesn't seem like it's super fun at first, you're just sort of like, okay, whatever, moving on. And I never really got past the first world. But I saw a clip of the horizontal stages of Kid Icarus, which made me like, wait a minute, was there a sequel to Kid Icarus or something? And so I wound up playing through this a little bit longer, and I found out that no, it's not that there's a sequel, it's that there's more to the game than just the vertical scrolling sections. I had no idea. So, yeah, and because the game's platforming is still oriented towards a horizontal mindset, it's actually easier to deal with the horizontal sections than the vertical sections. And then another thing that makes it easier is that you get, health power-ups and weapon power-ups and stuff along the way. So by the time you get to the third world, which is again a vertical scroller, you're just so much better prepared that it's, oh, I hate those little octopi or spiders or whatever they're supposed to be. Oh, glad you came, Pit. Here, take this. 1 arrow. Oh, I'm strong. Oh, I'm green now. Green means I'm more powerful. Let's see, is this? Nope, that's bad. Okay, this is the other thing that makes the game hard. If you die at any point, you're back to square one. Oh, and I lost my power-up, too. Ugh. Boo. To explain a little bit why I did something so foolish as standing in obviously red death water, at later points in the game, you will find yellow life water. And I avoided it for much of the game my first time through, and I was like, it wasn't until very late in the game that I realized that it was supposed to heal you, and I was like, oh, you mean I could have been healing this entire time, and I just Oh, hey, mustachios. I could have been healing this entire time and I just didn't know. So I was like, well, maybe the game actually lets you know earlier than I realized. But nope. Red water is death. Good to know. Good to know. Yellow water is life. Remember that, kids. Lemonade? It's good for you. Cherry lemonade. It's bad for you. Don't drink it. Or is it strawberry lemonade? What's the pink one? I think it's strawberry lemonade, actually, now that I think about it. Look at my health. I'm almost dead again. Jeez. Mustachios are dangerous. Yes, what was I saying before that? I'm finished. Yeah, so because you get more stuff as you go along and more health and all that, the game's just easier later on. And so, you know, I feel the same way about Zelda, like The Legend of Zelda as well, where, you know, in the early stages of the game, you only have 3 hearts, so you're sort of closer to death at all times earlier in the game. You know, as the game progresses, you would expect it to get more difficult, but because you are better equipped, it's kind of the opposite, really. You know, you sort of become less vulnerable. I don't know. It's a strange sort of thing. But anyway, yeah. So we're playing Kid Icarus, and so I want to get to those later levels so you can see, because I think part of the reason I had the impression that the entire game was vertical was sort of twofold. One, it's because I personally had never played past that point. What do you say? Try buying from me. No. Prices are exorbitant. I had never seen past that, but I also feel like the first world, for whatever reason, we have decided is the most iconic, and so anytime you see, like, clips or references to this game, it's you... Oh, crazy death. What was in there? I think this was something like a shop, maybe? Oh, no, it was mustachios. No. So these rooms are, I guess you'd call them refill rooms, or like training rooms, maybe? They show up throughout the game with increasingly more difficult monsters, and they're just designed to let you get more hearts, which are the currency in this game. What was I saying? I forgot. Okay. Well, we'll just keep going. I was talking for a while about the difficulty and oh, iconic, yes. So I feel as though whenever you see images or video from this game, it's typically the first world. And that's why it was so surprising to see that footage from the second world, because I had never seen it before. I had no reason to believe there was anything other than just this. Yeah, you have everything, but I don't need it right now. Bye. So I'm hoping that maybe there's some people out there who, like me, didn't know the game changed as you went along. So we're gonna play a bit. We're gonna play a bit more. There's also a really cool thing that happens every 4th stage, where you have like it's like a prison stage, and it's like a maze. It's really cool. There's a lot going on in this game that I just didn't know about because I couldn't get to it. I wasn't good enough to get to the interesting bits. That's a shame. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Monster Party in that way. I feel like a lot of the most interesting things in Monster Party happen later in the game, but you have to get to them. You have to get there, and that's the challenge. Like the guys who just say "watch my dance," and then like it's presented as though it's some sort of boss battle, but in reality it's just like you just kind of have to stand there until they're done, and then you can move on. Very silly. All right, yes, okay, yes. All right, almost back to where I was. Almost. They're the spiders or the octopi or whatever they are. Okay. Make me green, sir. I wish to be green-hued. Huzzah! Check out my sweet green hair. Oh yeah. All right. I think I'm close to the end of the stage. I think I am. That's it. That's the end. Okay, that's going to be enough for this episode. So, in the next episode, we will continue to climb up out of the pit that Pit has found himself in. And I hope you'll come back and join me for that. I am the MoeChicken. This is Kid Icarus. Thanks for stopping by.